Let's talk about The Long Walk and its ending. This is a movie I was actually able to watch yesterday. So we just got back from TIFF and I was just like, you know what? I want to watch this movie. So I had been hearing so many great things about it. It had a screenplay from JT Mollner, who I think is just an exceptional writer and director. I really love Strange Darling. You had Cooper Hoffman starring in it alongside David Jonsson. I was just like, these two are some of the best young actors we have today. And it is directed by Francis Lawrence, who did some of the Hunger Games films. When I heard about this movie, I will tell you, I am not that well versed in the Stephen King novel. I didn't really know what it was about. I just knew there was a competition where young men had to walk and they had to keep a certain cadence in their walk or they would be executed if they stop or if they slow down. And I'll tell you, the first trailer, it got me. I was just like, you know what? I think I'm going to watch this. So this movie really was such an intense and incredible film. And I'm going to talk more about it on my review tomorrow, so stay tuned. I'm planning a ton of reviews to drop over the weekend because I also have the TIFF movies, but this movie really caught me off guard. It was just an exceptional film. So what is The Long Walk? So in a dystopian America that is now ruled by a totalitarian regime, a walking contest is held every year. You have these participants known as the walkers who have to walk, and they have to keep a speed of at least 3 miles. They receive 3 warnings, and after the 3rd warning, if they don't move or aren't keeping up, then they're going to be executed, and that's pretty much what happens. Now, they can have a warning removed for walking 1 hour without a warning. So it's pretty much the way this story goes. What we see happen here is the contestants arrive, and our main character is the character played by Cooper Hoffman, Raymond Garraty. Now, we also have David Jonsson playing the character of Peter McBride. You have Garrett Wareing playing Stevens. You have Nyuot playing Arthur Baker. You have Charlie Plummer playing Gary Barkovich, and Ben Wang as Hank Olson. In this movie, you have Mark Hamill as the major, the man who is behind it all, who is leading the long walk. And it's a very antagonistic role, unlike anything we've seen, I think, Mark Hamill play. Probably his darkest one. So there's that. But it really is at its core, the film, what makes it work is not the long walk, not the very brutal executions that happen here, but I think it is the essence of these boys just trying to make it out of here. And what makes it even more sadder is that deep down they know they're all not going to get out of here. Only one can win. So the winner pretty much gets a large sum of money, but also gets a wish. We find out through talk and all of that that the wish that our main character of Raymond Garraty wants is to be able to get a gun. And with that gun, he says, right then and there, as soon as the walk is over and he is declared the winner, he will shoot and kill the major. And the reason for that is because the major actually killed his father, because his father would rebel against the government. His father was against the government, and he would let Raymond listen and read banned media that the government said was not good, because this is a government that is authoritarian and they want it their way, and that's the only way. And so his wish is for that, to kill the major at the end. Peter, on the other hand, would love to make it where the walk wouldn't exist. He wants to change the world. He doesn't want this walk to continue. So at the end of the film, we see that multiple of the boys have now died. We have seen that Curly was, of course, one of the first ones to die. Then we also saw Hank, as well as Gary, Art, Parker, and the last 3 boys are left are Ray and also Stevens and Peter. We realize that Stevens, of course, has been ill for a very long time now. He is just at the end of it all. He can't keep going, and he tells Ray and Peter, like, hey, you know what? This is the end for me. And the thing that I wanted was for the major to invite me to be part of his household, because I'm actually the bastard child of the major. But I can't do it anymore. Go on and go forth. And we see that ultimately Stevens gets killed, and now it's just Ray and Peter riding it out to the end until we realize that, yeah, this is gonna end until somebody dies. And we see that Peter decides to be that person as he sits down and gets the warnings, but Ray picks him right back up and says, let's go, come on, we gotta make it through all the way, you and me, Peter, let's do this. Ultimately, however, we see that Ray tricks Peter into going forth. As he sits down, he's already had all his warnings and gets killed, and Peter is declared victorious. And now Peter is in like a whirlwind of emotions as he sees Ray get gunned down. He is the winner, he has the money, and he's getting the wish, major, right in front of him. The man that has caused all this pain to so many people, not just the boys right now, but the other long walks and the people of this America, standing right in front of him, the oppressor, and he wishes for the carpenter. And And pretty much the soldier that gives him the carpenter is looking at the major like, I wouldn't do that. It seems like he's going to shoot you. But the major's like, he ain't going to do it. He knows that this is not going to be good for him to do. So he's going to just take that gun, right? We see that Peter puts the gun up to the major and then he says, this is for Ray, and shoots the major down. And then he walks down the lonely path into darkness. What the hell just happened, right? So I think that Peter, of course, had been talking about wanting to wish for the long walk to end, or for there to be more victors at the end of the long walk too. And this change, of course, would be very drastic and very different than what's been going on. A lot of the other boys said that Peter was very much so just thinking of a fantasy, a fairy tale. Why would this totalitarian regime listen to you? They've been doing this for years and years and years. Why would they go ahead and listen to one of the people here? And I think that Peter realized at the end that this indeed is a totalitarian regime that is never going to change. And I think that that really caused Peter to break down at the end, seeing what happened to Ray. Ray was there for revenge on his father, but I think Ray let Peter live because he just had all of this rage inside of him, and he was doing it for, you could go on and say, the wrong reasons, right? But he saw that Peter was doing it because Peter wanted real change. He wanted to be different and do it different. But we see that, of course, it didn't work out at the end for Peter. Peter, I think, realizes that this totalitarian regime is not going to change just because he makes a wish or he talks to them or any of that. That is why they are a totalitarian regime, because they do what they want. They're not going to listen to the people. This long walk is just used to control others around and sort of keep them in power as they are today. It's built on fear. It's built on violence, and they know that this is how they get to the people, and that's why the whole long walk is being televised. And it's showcasing the power of the regime. And I think when Peter realized that, that's when he knew that the only real change may come is if he does something drastic, which is killing the major when all of this is being televised, which he does at the end of the film. I believe that Peter ultimately gets killed at the end as well. And what we're seeing is just Peter's maybe spirit going on forth and maybe just being free of this all, hoping that this has inspired some change and hoping that the country will become new again and this regime can be put in the past. I really love this aspect of the film as well. I think it really does have a lot of parallels with reality TV show. I think the way that people get so, like, I would say, thirsty to watch others' lives and see what happens to them. For the most part, reality TV shows, we're watching other people make a fool of themselves, and that's entertaining for us, right? Because it ain't us that are making a fool. Like, we're living an honest living and things like that, and these people on reality TV show acting like a clown, and we love to see that. People tune in because of that. It is a morbid curiosity, a perversion of sorts. And I think the perversion here in the long walk is seeing these young men walk and walk and walk for miles at the chance of making a good amount of money, getting a wish and things like that. You'll see some blood, some violence and all this. And it goes back to the Colosseum days with the Romans. People would line up and just wait and see these people get slaughtered, and that was entertainment. And it was interesting in the long walk, I think, to showcase that aspect of it, how this has become so ingrained into American culture. Another parallel, of course, is the way that young men and young people get sent out to war. They get sent out to fight a war for the government itself. These boys are walking on miles and miles on end with no end in sight and pretty much no guarantee that they will live. Maybe one will live, and that's about it. And we see that they still go ahead and do this, and they get tricked and sort of brainwashed, and the rest of the world as well, into thinking that this is for the better of the country and it is something that they need to do, which we see that a lot of them enlisted on their own. It was voluntary and they did it for various reasons, of course, at the end, but deep down the whole reasoning that they're making them do this is because the government can. The government can do whatever they want. They are in control, and this is how they continue to have control. And I thought it was such a great parallel to showcase that, as we see that these young men ultimately become friends, comrades, and then they just get slaughtered one by one, and they have to see their friends be killed, ultimately at the hand of the government itself that put them in this predicament. So very powerful stuff in this film as well. I do want to read the book because I feel like there's more to it. I know they changed some things, especially the ending. So I want to read the book. So maybe once I read the book, we can get deeper into the themes of this movie and its story in itself. But amazing, amazing movie Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Very excited to talk more about it with you. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. As always, that's going to do it for me. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. Hit the subscribe and notification bell. Make sure you also give this video a thumbs up. Really would appreciate it. Check out our letterbox, TikTok, and Instagram, all provided down below. I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.